Welcome to another Grime
episode
Basketball podcast, episode something or other. I'm your host, David Sagoe, here with Thomas Arnal.
Yay! Hello. That's me.
And Jose Garcia Vidal.
Cheers.
On his 5th beer tonight.
Fourth.
All right, cool.
Hey, listen, he's having a quiet one. So, we are here to discuss and give out awards. It's still award season, so protect your face and don't mention anyone's wife. We can begin that way, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
You can do other things to that wife, but not disrespect.
Oh.
Apparently.
Hello, Tony Parker, Rick Barry.
Hey!
Brent Barry, sorry, not Rick Barry.
Brent Barry.
It's April, not August.
Hey!
So this week we are going through our regular end of season awards. It is the end of the season. Season comes to an end in 3 days. The play-in tournament starts in 5 at time of recording. So this is it. This is it, guys. No changing your mind after this. All those tough decisions you needed extra time for, you got 9 days extra. You better get it right now.
Changing my mind as we talk. Literally typing on my list. Like,
I didn't write mine down, so hopefully I don't forget. But do we start with the big one?
Hey.
Yeah, because it's very clear who's the winner. So let's go for it.
Oh, which one? Coach of the year?
No. MVP. MVP. Most valuable player. I've been having debates. I've been reading debates online about what an MVP is. People saying, oh, this and that. Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, Harden in 19 when he averaged 36, not getting it. Kobe in 06, not getting it. Should it be plus minus that decides it? All kinds of things have been thrown around. And the debates are so thick this year because we've got so many, more candidates than normal, right? For once, it's not a 2-horse race, which it normally is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sometimes a 1-horse race.
Okay.
I think we can all agree the front runners would be Giannis. I was going to say Booker. Giannis,
and Embiid,
Jokic, and Embiid.
Yeah, those three. Yeah, fair enough.
And then there's a floating bunch of people around that, like another 3-4 people you can were in and out of that top 3.
Like who?
Well, like Jason Tatum.
I was gonna say I didn't think you were gonna mention him, but yes, Tatum definitely.
Booker, Luka, now,
Ja
Morant. There's a bunch of people like that, and LeBron.
Even Steph. Steph at the start.
You can go with LeBron if you want to.
Fine.
The race is crazy this year.
All in all, we always say that the regular season is like, not that good, but it's been fun, and we've seen some great performances, haven't we?
Describe fun. I mean,
I don't know. I have to be fair though. Like I haven't seen it from a Spurs fan's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. You say fun because you made it to the play-ins, but Dave and I just say no. It's been a horrible. Yeah, whatever.
I just wanted to bring it in, somehow.
A tragic season, which we will.
We got the best coach ever, and get the best coach ever.
Let's move on to the next one. Skip the playoffs. Let's move on to the next season where the Lakers are running it back.
Can't wait. No, I've heard some people say that this is one of the best seasons for a long time. And I just couldn't judge it that way myself personally, just because it had a COVID-sized chasm right in the middle.
Yeah. Sure, we had Omicron.
Yeah, Amarian just sort of danced his way through the whole middle of the season. So it just ruined.
Okay.
Flow. Ruined the flow.
It just totally ruined the momentum. Because it was an exciting start to the season, even with my Lakers floundering, and like it started on like a house on fire. We had the whole Bing Bong Knicks thing, them going crazy.
Yeah.
And then anytime a team beat them, there was that back and forth, and teams going at the Lakers, and what was it? Seeing talking about all the Kyrie stuff, the Warriors being back, like there was
Simmons
a lot
stuff.
of interesting
Ben Simmons stuff,
going on.
the trades.
Ben Simmons.
I mean, even just the videos, right? The training videos. There was tons of interesting stuff. And then by December 15th, Trae Young was playing with 10 dudes that he didn't know. And racking up 13 assists somehow.
That was fun.
So yeah, it kind of derailed things a little bit. And then the second half has been cool as well. Maybe not even the second half. From the All-Star break down, there's been some cool stuff with the Celtics rise off the back of their defense. The Spurs obviously putting in this run to get in the play-in. The Pelicans with CJ McCollum doing stuff. The whole East just being in disarray. There's been some really good duels between the MVP candidates. I watched Jokic and Embiid go at it. That was in Philadelphia, I think.
That was a good match.
I watched Giannis and Embiid do the same thing last week. There's been some good stuff this season for sure. But that all brings us to this. The main reason we didn't do this last week was to give us more time to decide on our MVP. I don't know if you guys are any closer to deciding.
Absolutely.
I went back and forth. I changed my MVP about 300 times. And still, as I put the name down now to change it one final time, I'm still not convinced it's the right choice. To the point where I'm like, I'm going to give it 2 or 3, but I won't because we need to pick one.
So, I'm opposite to you, mate. I think it's very clear.
So interesting. Do you want to go first, maybe, and then I'll explain my
fine process. Yeah, it's Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever you see a Denver Nuggets game, it's like this is the guy that I'm gonna go back. Compare what he has done with what Giannis and what Embiid have done, and this is the guy that has done more with less.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So his stats are slightly better than Giannis and I'm talking about advanced stats, right? I'm talking what makes a team win a game. Yeah. His stats are better than Giannis's and Joel Embiid's with less help. Who is the second star on that team? Aaron Gordon?
Sure.
When on my first Grit and Grime podcast ever, I said, could we compare Aaron Gordon to Vince Carter? And you all said to me, no.
Damn right.
So, and I was being very positive about Aaron Gordon back then. I'm not anymore, like because he's okay. He's all right. You know, he's okay. You know, big guy, can still throw some dunks down, whatever. But Jokic is on his own on that team right now.
Well,
the
two players that were supposed.
No, not really though.
That's
not
that's
really.
Extra way to carry around.
Half of the season, he had Seth Curry, Andrew Drummond. He still has Tobias Harris, and now he has James Harden.
Maxi.
So that's great numbers. But this guy has done more with less, in my opinion. So to me, it's very clear.
I agree. So I'm giving it to Jokic as well. After going with Embiid most of the time, because as I kept saying throughout the season, I said there's a lot of the MVP votes that are decided with what narrative is going around the league, and I think because of Jokic getting it last season and Embiid pushing really a lot, he's been pushing on social media to get his trophy this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, yeah, Jokic had it last season. Let's go and give it to the next guy who's been really good. But then I say, and then I went down to the same thing you say, which is if I take Jokic out of the Nuggets, the chances of them crashing down and finishing bottom 3 in the West, maybe I'm too harsh, but like not making the playoffs, are frankly higher than if you take Embiid out of the Sixers, which they still have a lot of material to play with.
Who doesn't make the play-in in the West?
I know,
how bad would the team have to be to not make the play-in in the West?
Suck so
Think
hard.
about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Spurs made the play-in, mate.
And what's their record? Like 33 and 47 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
34 and 45.
The Spurs have the worst record in 25 years.
Still making it.
And made the play-in.
That's crazy. I mean, deserved. For Coach Pop, he needs it. Anyway, going back to Jokic.
Yeah, going back.
There's a couple stats. So it's like I was trying to decide, and then it says, well, I found somebody who sort of compiled Jokic against the others basically, and against more stats. So he's leading the league in defensive box plus minus. It's hard to say for me. Giannis is second, and Embiid is ninth. So there's, if you can use that.
But he's doing it by far though, isn't he?
Yeah, that's like so. One of also the other one, like in terms of PER and all these numbers, he's destroying everything. This the best season statistically of all time, which is completely mad.
Yeah.
And then he can give the wins also. It's like he's got more wins than Embiid, I think, at this point still, and Giannis. So he's the only one in the top. How is it? Only one in top 10. The only one in top that averages over 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. I think he's in triple double this season, if I'm not mistaken, unless he's gone down.
Is that per 36? I assume.
I think it's per 36. Yeah, I think so.
Per 36, definitely. He's not averaging a triple double per game.
He's not averaging
per
just
36,
quite yet, but
definitely.
per 36. So
but he has the most triple doubles in the season anyway.
It's just that if you think he was deserving to be MVP last season and he's doing even better, he's improved on that. Then why not give him again? Like you should give him MIP and MVP together. He's improved as well. So it's like, I was for the longest time I was going with Embiid because I'm not gonna lie, like if there's one player I love on the Sixers, it's Embiid. Like I just like the way he plays. He reminds me of a even better Shaq, less physical, but I mean, like Shaq with the 3-point shot. But, and that kind of charisma around him, and like he's got a big mouth. He's not afraid to talk, and he's not afraid to trash talk, and I love that about him. So I want him to get an MVP at some point, maybe next season, and then just give it up to Luka after that for the next couple of years. But at least give him one trophy at some point. I don't know if this year, if had Jokic had the same like equivalent season statistically and the last year, then yeah. But then Jokic has improved, so it's like what? That's to me the best argument for his case. Like he's improved on already a MVP winning seasons. Like how can you not? How can you not? And I'm interested in Dave's. Who's gonna go with LeBron James?
Same.
It'll be LeBron. I mean, I'm just. You look at all the different criteria. If you're going with advanced stats, there's no way you can choose anyone other than Jokic, right?
Yeah.
For all the reasons you guys said, you look at VORP, you look at win shares, you look at pretty much. Oh my gosh, it's not even close with win shares with him. And rightfully so. I mean, the only thing that gives me cause to pause when I look at the whole frame of things is when I look at the standings, right? Some people will say, well, the Nuggets are only 6th in the West. They're only 2 games ahead of the Timberwolves, the mighty Timberwolves. And when you look in the East, Giannis is holding down third place, 2.5 games off the lead.
But
Sixers are
they only
tied
have
for
two
that
more
as well.
wins. They only have two more wins than the Nuggets.
Exactly. They only have two
So-
more wins in this much weakened West that they call it.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. However, they have played more games against the East, right? These teams that have more wins. So fair enough.
Yeah, but that was true of the West when the West was strong too. The
True.
records
Absolutely.
were better and the competition was better. So
Absolutely.
it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, you can compare them head to head like that, but then at the same time, look at what he's working with, man. Look at what he's working with.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Second best player in the Nuggets team is Will Barton.
Will
Yay.
Barton. I mean,
I love him.
arguably.
He's great, but the second best player is not playing at all.
Yeah.
If I could,
Yeah.
but
Campazzo. But yeah, it just doesn't. It's yeah. I mean, it's Jokic. That's my answer. But but it is interesting how the argument has changed to where we're arguing about players on a third, a fourth, a sixth. And you could even argue that like Luka getting the Mavs to a 4 seed is just as impressive as anyone else.
Because he's done it on his own as well, I think.
That team
the
is
short
not
period of
good.
time where he had the unicorn next to him.
And apparently statistically he's got the
nothing.
best record against the other guys that are in the MVP running, like head
really?
to head.
That's good to know.
Mental.
Yeah, then I would consider Luka absolutely. Like he's a fourth contender right there because they're fourth. Man, he's playing. What? It's crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, like that team is not a strong team. They have some good role players, but the Mavericks are not a great team by any means. And with the poor start that he had as well, to have them where they are, they've already won 50 games with 2 to go. And then, as we said, Tatum earlier, again, Celtics have won 50 games, but I think they've done it a little bit of a different way. Tatum's been excellent, but I think the fact that they've done it mostly with defense and it's been a team effort on their end.
Tatum has better players around him.
Yeah, whereas Luka is carrying that offensive load night in and night out. So yeah, those are the candidates. I think I ultimately would go Jokic as well, but yeah, Giannis has a very strong argument.
Yeah.
He has a very strong argument.
Absolutely.
Very good season, excellent head-to-head against the best teams in the league. He just has a different confidence about him this year, having come off the championship. There's a more relaxed approach, and yeah, he's still killing it in minimal minutes. I think it's him and Jokic, or is it him and Embiid are about to break a record for like the highest PER in under 35 minutes or something like that.
I believe it might be Jokic and Giannis. Yeah, I think the two of them.
Is it Jokic? Yeah. Embiid has played 33.7 minutes per game. Giannis is at 32.9. Jokic is at 33.4. So I think they're all, and they're all
That's
over
great.
30.
It's ridiculous.
Which is just.
Are we talking about 3 players that are in their prime? Like, what do we get? Like, 2 more years of these guys at their best? 3, maybe?
It'll be more.
Because they're 26, 27 years old, all 3 of them, right? Like, Jokic is 26, Giannis and Joel are 27. So do we get 4 years of them?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun because Luka is getting better. You got these young bloods getting also better. So it's gonna be a fun NBA to watch the next couple of years.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. And then I don't really know what Devin Booker has to do to be considered in something like this.
Not yet. He's a scorer.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Booker is because you know what. Because I thought about it the other day and I was like, why is he not being taken seriously? Because almost like what Jose just said, it's like he's a scorer. And like I think the fact that he scored 17 that game a couple of years ago against the Celtics is also
But
that's
they
kind
lost.
of been a disservice to him. But do you know what I mean? Like as in now we only look at him under that lens of well, he's there to score basket, but he's not really influencing because yeah, they've lost. Do you know what I mean? Like almost in that way, I feel in the subconscious of many people.
I think advanced stats as well. I think in the old school sense of things, they would have had to establish who the best player on that team was, right? Whether it was Chris Paul or Booker. And then when you don't have advanced stats to look at these things, you're then looking at, okay, who are the best teams and who are the best players on those teams? And then you start to look at things differently, right? I think a lot of the Miami guys get dismissed because of how many games they've missed.
Sure.
And then obviously Ja has been excellent, but when he's been out, they've been just as good. So that would then rule him out. We've seen Steph sort of decline as the season's gone on. I think in an old school sense, or maybe if he was older as well, I think Booker would have gotten a strong look.
You think if he was older, he would?
If today was 1990, do you know what? I look a lot at. Yeah, I do. I think if he was older, he would get a look. Just because, like, I'm saying this now, right? If the Suns keep going on doing these things and he clearly starts to separate himself from Chris Paul, right, as the best player on the team,
eventually will
winning. Maybe at some point they win a championship, even if they don't, right? It's going to be one of those. We're going to have one of those, why hasn't he won one kind of thing, similar to what we had with Kobe.
Sure.
Right?
Fair.
Where people think of him as one of the best players in the league, but Garnett gets a MVP. Duncan picks up 2. Iverson gets his. And
it's
you go
like
around the league,
T-Mac,
and then it's like
T-Mac
eventually
scoring champion. Like, why didn't he get it? Yeah, I see your point.
Eventually, at some point, you'll be like, well, okay, when is it his turn? It's a bit different with Kobe just because of how high he ascended, but similar thing.
Fair enough.
I think it's because of kind of what you kind of joining what I'm saying basically which is like people are not seeing him as anything else than just a scorer. But then because of Chris Paul being on his team, that's kind of a disservice to him personally. But like I can't tell you who the best player is on that team, on the Suns. Like I can like there's definitely like a big 3 sort of, you know. You got a strong point guard, a big center. Well, Ayton is really good.
I'm talking about the half. The half is Ayton for me. Like he's not consolidating himself yet.
Sure, but he does well. Okay, it's a big 2.5. Yeah. I mean, there's that level 1 top tier, if you will, of CP3
and he's right there. He's not far, but he's down. He's below.
Yeah, I think as long as Chris Paul's on that team, it's very hard for people to justify Booker as a number 1 on his team, because when you think Phoenix and you think who's the boss on that team, it's Chris Paul. For many different reasons, but like, so if he's not already the best player on his team, or if you're not picturing him being the franchise guy of that team, it's hard to consider him for MVP. I know there's a lot of players that are saying, well, he should be MVP. I think who tweeted about it? Was it KD?
It was mentioned. There was Kyrie said it. Yeah,
Kyrie said it should be MVP.
And I said it was like an old school opinion, but I'm sure he looked at the sun, the earth, the moon, and the stars and decided that it should be Devin Booker who's bestowed upon amongst the galaxy's will.
Yeah,
do your own research.
Yeah, his opinion fell flat, I think.
All right, let's move on.
What's next? Who's next?
We need to pick things up.
So wait, we all agree on Jokic then? Wow, that's I thought that we would be fighting and setting the whole thing on fire. That's impressive. Okay, maybe it's not that close.
And that's the thing. It might end up not looking as close as it actually is, but it is close.
Yeah.
So where do we go next? Should we go to defensive player?
Sure.
Another one I'm torn on.
I'm
torn on. I think I know where I'm going though.
You know where you're going.
Go first then.
Yeah, go on.
Me? All right.
Yeah.
Obviously defensive player is one that is difficult to choose without watching a huge ton of basketball. I've looked at a bunch of different cases. Some people say Marcus Smart should be up there because of the Celtics defense, and you award him as one of the better defensive players on the team. I disagree. They're good because they switch. So I wanted to go with one of the big man options. And that had me left with 3. Jaren Jackson Jr.
All right.
Rudy Gobert.
Of course.
And Bam Adebayo.
Fair enough.
Not Giannis? I thought you were going to go
Oh, do you know what? Giannis should absolutely be there.
Yeah.
Embiid probably should too. But Embiid's defensive I know defensive metrics can be so up and down. Embiid's defensive metrics have kind of fallen off. But yeah, Giannis should be right there, I guess. But ultimately, I guess I was torn between. I dropped Bam because of the minutes played. I crucified Kawhi's second award because he didn't play enough games for me. And I thought Draymond Green should have won it. And I think he would have won it this year if he hadn't missed a bunch of games too. So it was again, do I go with the age-old Rudy Gobert, or do I reward some new blood in Jaren Jackson Jr.? And I went with Jaren Jackson Jr., baby. Give him the award.
Right.
Give him the award. He has the best field goal percentage in terms of rim protection in the league. So he only allows, I think it's 49.7% at the rim this year. Top 2, and he's not 2 on that stat. And he's doing much of that with a center around. So he's coming over and helping on their rotations, which is really important for their defense because they force a lot of turnovers, which means they play something of a risky style of defense. And yeah, Memphis has been one of the best defensive teams this year. And I think he's been their best defensive player.
That's fair. I think any player, there's a few players in Memphis that can or could be considered for a few awards, and he's one of them. I see. I understand. Your reasoning. Disagree, but I understand it.
I don't like it, but I understand it. Oh my god, down that vodka. So
it's water, man.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I'm going with Rudy. I'm going with Rudy Gobert. I think it's quite clear, Rudy. So he's getting more rebounds than ever. A few points on blocks, like 2.7 to 2.1 from last season to this season. Sorry, but the guy he's a machine with rebounds. Like, he's a rim protector in this day and age where attacking the rim could be a tool that players use instead of the 3-pointer. He's like, if Rudy Gobert is down there, you're not going down there. You know, like I feel like I'll give it to him.
Yeah. I'm going with what we should be naming the Rudy Award. I mean, I don't understand what.
But that's the thing. So when I was thinking, like, this guy is gonna win 4 in a row. Is it 4 in a row or 4?
No, Giannis won one.
but it's fourth total, right? So
it's fourth
and then I
total,
was
but
like,
it will be third in a row.
should he win a fourth? But then I was like, Dikembe Mutombo won 4. Ben Wallace won 4.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I'll put him up there. Yeah. I mean, what was the stat? I think when I was doing some research into his numbers, the one I thought that was cool was he's contesting second most shots per game. So I think it's like 20, 21 a game, which is second behind the MVP, which is Jokic. Yeah, who's contesting 21 and a half per game. Contesting shots doesn't mean they're not making them. Out of those 21 shots that are taken, only 40% of those are made. So it's quite and it's closer to the rim, right? So if you're looking at giving the
so it's high percentage shots, basically.
Yeah, it's highest percentage. Yeah, so it's more chances to go in, and it's even more impressive that it's a lower number like that when you're closer to the rim. But also what is something that doesn't really translate in the stats, but like the changes you have to make to avoid being in the same vicinity as Rudy Gobert is changes your offense. But again, Dave is going to change, get me the Terrence, whatever his name was, man or whatever, in the playoffs last year or 2 seasons ago, where I would say yes. So what? That's my argument. I don't know. I think he's to be fair, like I've learned to appreciate what he does even more so, because we've got my team in France got Wembayama, who's going to be on the drafted, not this season, next season, probably in the top 3, whatever, we'll see. He's got the same sort of vibe defensively as Gobert. It's like extremely long arms, very mobile.
Such a good player.
And like he can block everything. Like he's even a better shot blocker than
and he can shoot as well, can he?
And he can shoot threes. So he started making threes this year. The last few games, so it's worse now. But he defensively, that's the sort of player. So you see how offenses have to rethink the way they run their plays and the way they position their players on the court, and they have to, even though you think you're open, your chances of you getting blocked out of nowhere are quite high. So these are stats that you don't necessarily see. The mental changes you have to you're imposing on the other team. So I think that's what he does. Yeah, you can argue. I mean, I understand the Triple J pick. It's a good one as well. All the stats back it up. So yeah, I guess again, you know what, it goes with the narrative around the players. Like, do you want to give it to Rudy and say, look, this is his trophy now for the next, one more time, but then they probably switch for somebody else next year, or they switch this year just because everyone's fed up, and Rudy is not one of the most liked players in the NBA, and so, sometimes that can play against you as well.
I mean, I'm looking at the defensive ratings, guys. The Jazz are down to 11th.
Yeah.
11th. Outside the top 10.
I think they are like close to the bottom when he's not played. I think he's missed a couple of games. I think this it drops drastically. But I think that the you can look into the numbers also when he's in the game, but on the bench and on the court, I think there's a massive change also in ratings. So it's people are arguing that it's not really his fault that they are solo in the
yeah. So is that, and then I give the edge to Jaren Jackson Jr. as being more switchable.
Sure. Yeah.
So more of a versatile defender.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't just Terrence Mann him.
It would be an interesting one. The defensive player of the year, I'm actually quite interested to see where that's going, more than the MVP, to be honest.
What I think might happen is I think the person that wins may not be the person that gets the most first place votes.
Yeah.
It might be like Magic's MVP in 91. where someone else gets more first place votes, but he claimed a lot of second places, and that put him over Charles Barkley that year. All right. Was that 91? I think it was 91. Was it 90? Might have been 90.
91, I think, yeah.
So we move on
92.
to should we go to Coach of the Year?
Sure.
Easy.
Or should we keep it with the players and do MIP?
MIP. Like it. Love it.
But
MIP. Tough one for me.
Really?
This year especially. Yeah. There's certain things that I don't like to do that I'm just being forced to do. So here we are. I don't like giving it to second-year players. I don't like giving it to players that were high picks and that were basically expected to improve, right?
Sure.
But I ultimately landed on Desmond Bain.
Okay.
And the reason I chose Desmond Bain is obviously his minutes have increased from his first year to his second. What's this? He's played a few more games, but he's played a lot more minutes. Where is the two thing? There we go. So he's gotten 8 more minutes per game this season compared to last, but in that time, he's basically doubled his stats. His points have doubled from 9.2 to 18.3. His blocks have doubled 0.2 to 0.4. Love it. Steals doubled 0.6 to 1.2. Assists 1.7 to 2.8. But what the stats don't show is that in those, I think it's now 22 games that Ja has missed. I think it's a little bit more than that, actually. He becomes the first option, and he's been able to consistently score and put up points under first option duress, under first option focus from the defense. And that's really impressive from a second-year player who also wasn't necessarily, who we knew could shoot, but we didn't necessarily know could score and carry an offense like that. Obviously, they are better defensively, but I think the maturity and the jump that he's made this season has been really impressive and warrants the award.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he was on my list in the top 3 for that one. I was gonna give it to Moran, to Ja, but because I kind of agree with what you said about those players that are like drafted high and you expect them to take that leap, even though his leap has been massive. And I think what was he? I can't remember the averages, but I can't give it to him because the reasoning is simple. Like, you expect him to be that good.
That's fair.
Right?
But
it doesn't mean... Yeah.
His leap has been, he's in only one extra, well, not even a whole minute. In 0.9 minutes extra per game, he has gone up from 19.1 points to 27.6. Doubled his blocks, 0.2 to 0.4. You love to see it. His assists are down 7.4 to 6.7. Rebounds are up 4.0 to 5.7.
Yeah.
Free throws are up slightly. 2-point percentage is up from basically 50% to 53.5. 3-point percentage is up from 30% to 34%. That is significant for a player like him, considering the type of shots he's taken as well. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So who you give it to, Tom?
Well, I'm gonna make you very happy because I'm gonna give it to Murray.
Yes. Yes.
Murray.
Yes.
Because he, again, so backing up what I said, he was picked 29th in the first round. Yes, fine. So that's high-ish, but it's not top 10, right? So it's nothing. You
not
wouldn't
top 20,
expect
man.
like, it's not top 20. But anyway, he went from, I believe, 15, almost 16 points last season, and now he's jumped up all the way to 21. So it's not it's an improvement, which is what we're looking for. He's shooting better, higher percentages, grabbing more rebounds, and almost doubling his assists.
Yeah.
Stealing two steals a game.
Big leader.
He's improved like everything. And most importantly, went into the All-Star and got his team into the play-ins. Yeah, that's it. I rest my case, Your Honor. That's it.
Drop the mic.
I can't add anything else besides saying that this guy, he was the third best player in the Spurs last year, with DeRozan and Aldridge, right? Third best player, maybe.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
And now he's an All-Star. Same as you just said. Like I'm practically out of nowhere because this guy he became so important to this franchise, and he's the face of this franchise right now. Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything else that you haven't said already, Tom. Like I'm obviously also giving it to DJ. I was about to pick Ja Morant because of what he did. I was so impressed with him this year. But I think in the end, like, take away so the MIP is like a second tier MVP version of right like, so take away Ja Morant from the Grizzlies and they still win, every game. Take away DeJounte from the Spurs and we are the worst team in the NBA almost, like, so basically that's it.
Lakers.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Ja Morant Ja Morant deserves it, but DJ has a slight advantage. I think Ja Morant might still get it, but DJ is definitely a candidate.
I do think DJ deserves it. That's a really good shout. Really, really good shout. Because also there's a difference between going from being like a average role player to a good player, and a difference between being a good player and becoming an all-star.
Yeah.
And I think that's the jump that he's made. Very tough to make. Again, with all the focus on him throughout the season.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would agree. Is that our last player award?
Rookie.
Yeah, with Rookie of the Year.
Rookie.
That one.
Yeah, it's not an easy one. Honorable mention to Franz Wagner. I feel like he's the forgotten man in all of these discussions. He's had a really good season. And in terms of actual skill and capability, he's been one of the best rookies. Jalen Green has come on, but way too late. So that leaves me with Cade, Mobley, and Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
I'm so torn. Personally, I want to give it to Cade just because I think he is the best rookie. But he did miss the first, was it 4 or 6 weeks of the season?
Yeah.
Which is really tough. And then you look at Evan Mobley, who's actually relied upon to do a lot more for that team than anyone expected him to do, and to have them in the position that they are. With everyone going down, we didn't even mention Darius Garland in Most Improved. He's definitely a candidate for that award.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. It's a tough one. Let's discuss.
I think it goes to Evan Mobley. It's a mini or young Anthony Davis. Like the guy has, like, on offense, fine, but on defense, like, the guy is a presence on defense, isn't he? Yeah. He's the guy that we will be talking about in the next few years for MVP, like Defensive Player of the Year candidate, because he's just so good, very mature. And if you compare his team's performance with Cade or with Josh Giddey, who we didn't mention, who also could be considered, or with Franz, his team is doing well. And it's not because of all the players around him, and he's just a rookie that plays a couple of minutes. It's in a big part because of him. So I think it's Evan Mobley.
Well, I'm going completely different. I'm going with the one I actually enjoy watching play, which is Scotty Barnes. I could watch him play all the time. Like I love his style, and I think he's got a lot of room for improvement as well. So there's a high ceiling for him. I don't know. I kind of compare him with Scottie Pippen in a weird way.
Because of his name?
Like physically, yeah, his name. I think it's just a straight up thief. I don't know.
No, I get it. It's the size, the ball handling, the defense. Yeah.
Like he can do it all, and I find him very like smooth, and like he's not forcing anything already. Like he's a young guy, and he's already mature enough to do that. I don't know. I think there's a potential Scottie Pippen in there somewhere. I'm not saying it's going to be as high, but it's reminding me of that. So I'm going with what I like visually. No stats.
I guess I'm gonna go Evan Mobley, but Cade's coming for all of them. Because the other thing about Cade is I think people forget that the Pistons didn't win a game without him. I think that's right.
Wow.
That's cool.
I think that's right.
Well, I mean, they won like 15 games anyway, so it's not like...
Yeah, it was something like that. Now I need to double check that. But yeah, they basically didn't win a game without him. And then he jumped in, and obviously the wind started rolling in.
Rolling.
All 23 of them.
Yeah.
All 23 of them. Yeah. It feels like it's super tight, and it feels like, I don't know, is it me or this season it feels like there's it's that one is super close. Like there was always like a clear favorite previously, but all three front runners have there's a good case for. I mean, I guess Scotty Barnes, I think, is maybe will finish third. I think I'm just going with who I like personally. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think it'll be between Cade and even Mobley, and I think Mobley is going to win it. But
yeah,
it's super close though. I think between the two of them, 2.5. I'll say Scotty Barnes. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near the top. But it's super close this year. I can't really pick one. That's why I picked my favorite.
Yeah, it definitely is. And again, it depends on what you look for and things of that nature. But yeah, I'd love to give it to Cade, but I think just the fact that he missed, it wasn't as many games as I thought, actually. It says he was inactive for the first 4 games of the season.
Really? It felt longer than that.
Right?
Yeah.
It did.
I think if you want one thing to help you separate the two of them, Mobley and Cade, I mean, I guess you can say that Mobley is the more successful team this year. Maybe he's helped more. I guess you can you can use that as an argument.
I use that as an argument, 100%.
They only won 3 games without Cade. Pacers, Magic.
Don't say it.
All tough teams.
Don't say
Spurs.
Yeah, you see? All terrible teams. How can we lose against the Pistons? Oh my god.
Without Cade. So yeah, that's the reality of it, right? So 3 of those 23 wins came without him.
Okay.
Anyway.
Whatever.
He
anyway.
did miss what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. According to this, he missed 18 games. And they went.
And Mobley, has he missed any games?
I
think he has not many. I can look at
not many, if any. But I've made my decision, so.
No, you've done it.
It's over. It's too late for him. 67 he's played, so yeah, he's missed quite a few. But who hasn't?
Exactly. You're missing one. 6 men.
6 Man of the Year award. I'm gonna be extra basic and give it to Tyler Hero.
Second, yep. Preach.
Same.
Yeah.
I didn't have any option. Like I was like, yeah.
Cam Johnson's been great. Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Been weirdly good.
Consider Kevin Love because of, I was like, respect your elders, right? Like this guy, he became a leader. He's great, but no, Tyler Hero takes it.
Yeah.
Consider Clarkson as well. Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
No love for Malik Monk.
Well, he's the only bright spot in your season.
I'd say so.
Actually, genuinely, he's one of the only bright spots in your season. Unfairly used by your social media manager for every L.
For every loss.
Every L is linked forever associated with Malik Monk.
That's funny. So we can move over to the suits. And we can start out with, well, we'll go with the coaches. We had a little discussion a few weeks back where we did break down the candidates. Had a top 6 with a few honorable mentions. Ultimately, my mind hasn't changed. Still big props to Taylor Jenkins. Still massive props to Spo and what he's done with players being out injured. That is an incredible job. He is still top even after the fight in the East. I'm still going with Monty Williams.
Yeah.
Franchise record.
And you're talking, he beat teams that, I mean, when it comes to wins, Steve Nash and Charles Barkley. Right, like those teams won 62 games, like, and he won 63. Yeah, he takes it. Of course, I consider Pop, but we won half the games.
No, you didn't win half the game. Oh, half as many as them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Spurs won half as many games as the Suns did.
So that was the tiebreaker. Yeah, that was the coin toss.
I think
it's Monty Williams.
It's going to be the most one-sided vote in the entire thing. It's going to be a massive, easy win for Monty. The easiest win of the season, I guess, for him.
Well, the easiest win was against the Knicks.
What's the arguments against him being coach of the year, right? There's no.
No, there isn't. There really isn't. Because we talk about the Heat players missing games. Booker's missed some time. Paul's missed some time as well. Ayton's missed a lot of time this season. He's kept on ticking. So props to him. That leaves us with Chief Exec.
The most important award.
It is. The closer we get to ownership, there should be an Owner of the Year award.
Sure.
The closer we get to the ownership,
Genie Bus.
These awards become. Showtime. So, after Rob Pelinka, who has been the best executive this year?
Jesus. Yeah.
Robbie.
Who tinkered, who put together the best squad, who made the best and biggest changes?
I think it goes to the Bulls executive.
All right.
Arturas Karnitsovas, who I looked up, and he was a player for the Lithuanian national team. Used to play in Seton Hall University under PJ Carlesimo, former Seattle Supersonics coach. Apparently was a really good player who didn't get played in the NBA because of he never got drafted, but he got paid a lot more in Europe. And he's one of the few players who played for all big leagues in Europe. So he played in France, Italy, Spain, and Greece as well. So good player. I think. I mean, look at what the Bulls are. He made the best changes, right? Like the best trades. We didn't discuss DeMar when we talk about MVP. Like he's not gonna win MVP, but he was considered at one point because of what he did this year, and the Bulls got him, and Caruso and Lonzo Ball stays there. Like it's just, I think it was a good move. So I think it goes to him.
And you should have told me you would have voted for AK. I think I've got a picture of myself standing next to him when he played in France as a kid.
No way.
When he came to visit.
Wow.
I need to find it somewhere on my anyway.
AK. Did he wear number
AK.
47? That would have been cool.
No, that was what's his face? Kirilenko. Actually,
Yeah, of course.
Of course he went.
Andrei.
Yeah, it's 47. No, he was good as a player. I kind of want to give it to him, but I also want to play the continuity card, which is giving it to James Jones again.
Okay.
Sure. But they didn't make any changes though.
JaVale McGee.
Don't care. JaVale McGee, man. So I'm torn. I'm in between the two, and I can't really decide. I'll tell you what, I'll go with AK because you know what? Even though I don't really like the Bulls, but that's not.
You've met him.
At the point. He's done a good job. And I actually agree with him when they went with Lonzo Ball, and the fact that when he picked up his injury and he was out, that's when the Bulls declined. And I was like, that means that you've made a good choice in your players, that your team is suffering because of an injury. That means you brought the right player. In a twisted way. But he's done a good job. And I know they were very on the fence with him. I think as when he got given the role of execs at the Bulls, I think they were like, all the fans I saw on there.
This guy knows basketball.
Oh yeah.
Right?
100%.
That's what you want from an executive. He's not the brightest player. He's not the flashiest player. Look at, again, Sean Marks, James Jones. Like James Jones, like he was barely a shooter, a role player.
Yeah.
But this guy knows how to play basketball. He knows what he needs to do to win games.
Yeah, and James Jones, like I think, like you said, like he's not made that many changes, but he's managed to do one thing: is keep the core players there. And I guess one of the hardest thing in sports is to, when you're successful, is to continue being successful.
Sure.
At a high level. So, and the fact that they beat the records, in terms of wins versus it's again, he's not had to do much, but I'm sure what he's done it well. So, okay, anyway, AK.
And he had to deal with the article.
And that you got the honor, so that means you've gotta do more to put out those fires, right?
With that, I'm actually going to go in a different direction as well.
Right.
I'm going to go with I've forgotten, Joe Lacob, the Warriors, and the reason for that is I saw a list, it might have been yesterday, of about 9 Warrior players who were getting significant minutes last year.
Yeah.
And who are now either completely out of the rotation, they're on a team but they don't play for them, or they're completely out of the league. Right? So Bazemore was starting, he's out of the rotation for the lowly Lakers. Jordan Bell, Eric Pascal, there's all of these names of players. Kelly Oubre is probably the best player that left the team. There's all of these players that played huge minutes last season and just aren't there this season. And wherever they've gone, they're not making any impact in the league anymore. So for him to be able to refresh the team around those huge contracts that they have there, Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, to the point where Draymond Green has missed significant time. Steph has played a lot actually, but his form has been poor as of late by his standards, of course, and they're still keeping afloat. Klay Thompson hasn't been himself since coming back, and the team's still keeping afloat because of what they've still got there around that core. They have this bed of role players that know what they're doing and defend well, and I do think that the personnel has been the difference between them being ninth in the and in the play-in last season, and being third in the West.
50 wins
in the West this season. Because last season Steph had a much better season, right?
But it was just him.
Yeah, exactly. His performance has gone down, but the rest of the team has risen up to him. So I'm gonna go Joe Lacob.
Fair enough. It's a good choice. Like, yeah, I agree with everything you just said. And you see the role players, which are kind of like role, but also can score. You see Jordan Poole, Gary Payton. Moody. Yeah. Moses Moody. Juan Toscano Anderson as well. Like, great role player. Like, yeah. Absolutely.
The general standard of player there rose by getting rid of the deadwood and bringing in a better caliber of role player. And I think those are the harder moves to make, right? Like we've seen actually the Lakers retool twice, right? They retooled after the championship. And when you're bringing in players that are all low salary players, because they have to be low salary players because of who you're paying at the top, sometimes you can get someone like Malik Monk on the cheap, or sometimes you end up with a dud, right? And they've managed to bring in a higher caliber of low paid but very much quality role players.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a good choice.
It's the anti James Jones then. Your choice is like
changed a lot, right? Yeah. Yeah, it
also makes sense. Cool.
All right, I guess we can wrap there.
Yep.
It's been real. Thank you guys. Apologies for the lateness. I have COVID. Pour one out for me.
What do you have?
The vid. The 1-9 has come for me. But as always, thank you for watching or listening. Remember to get us on social media at Grit and Grime Pod, and give us 5 stars on whatever platform you are listening, please. If you are watching on YouTube, remember to like, hit the subscribe, and tick the bell so that you know exactly when our pods drop live and direct. And in general, like, share, subscribe, rate, review, anywhere and everywhere to help us get the word of the pod out. Let the people know. Share. It's good to share. Yeah. I've been your host, David Sagoe. He's been Thomas Arnal.
Bye.
And he's been Jose Garcia Vidal.
Ciao.
We're out of here.